Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Welcome to Randomania, your home for all the randomizers, and tonight's Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament race between Monoci85 and Fuzzymage. I am Game Boy F9. I am joined by Nitz. Very good evening to you.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to get in on these Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament races. It's Dev Night in the comm booth tonight. I'm, of course, one of the developers of Final Fantasy Randomizer, and Game Boy is one of the developers of every other randomizer from Dragon Warrior to RC Pro-Am, so it's a lot of fun, and forward to calling the race with you tonight.
Same here, and we're gonna have a nice fun one. We have Monoci at 1-0 who defeated I Am the Swartz in the first Swiss round, and then we had Fuzzymage who upset Edge Figaro, who I would say could arguably be a top 10 runner, and it was a result of Fuzzymage doing a Red Dragon grind, and Edge Figaro had to deal with a very complicated chaos and couldn't get through, and Fuzzymage goes 1-0.
Yeah, he's off to a great start, beat a great runner, so that means he's well positioned now to take on Monoci85, who was, co-champion of the inaugural league. So he's got his work cut out for him tonight, and this should be like a great race in this second round here. So the first thing we get to look at while we're waiting for them to start is the party comp. There's a forced black belt that we're both thinking might be laying on his face most of the match, and then they both took a fighter for your obvious tanky and sword wielding needs, and then of course we got a bit of a divergence here. Monoci taking 2 red mages and Fuzzymage going with a black and a white. So the 2 red mages being the more risky, versatile strat. If you get lucky and they land on all the magic spells, they're going to be super versatile, being able to cast spells of both colors, wielding weapons, and so forth. And the black and the white is the safer play. You're going to get access to every spell eventually, and that way you can't possibly get unlucky and find that Life 2 is unlearnable, or Fade and Nuke are both unlearnable. So Fuzzymage playing a little safer, Monoci being a little riskier. Which strategy do you prefer, Game Boy?
This might be one of those things where I might tend toward Monoci's unless level 1 turns out to be unless if he discovers all these spells to be unlearnable, then he might swap to a white mage, black mage. I don't know what you think about that strategy, but
yeah, the old reset out and recreate your party really fast thing is something that either of them might do depending on what happens. Like if you say you walk in and you see at level 1, like maybe Cure 4 or Life 2 is Red Mage learnable, and then on the other side you got level 1 Nuke, boy, it would be tempting to switch both. On the other hand, if Red Mage unlearnable is Fade and whatever else, you could see it happen. Both of them have plenty of time over the course of this race to make up the time you lose regenerating your party, but the way they've picked it, I think they're planning to stick with it.
yeah, I would definitely say that. And looks like we are about 20 seconds or so away from live racing here on Randomania, and free for that matter.
Yeah, the price is right on Randomania tonight, and I hope you're going to stick with us for the late show. I'm pretty excited to see this one go down.
And on that note, the competition has begun.
All right, so the first thing we're going to look at, of course, is what's available in the magic shops. Oh, and look at that. Life 2 Red Mage unlearnable. And XXXX, but no AoE to work with on the Black Mage side.
Oh, Monoci stalled there for a second. I bet he was thinking about it.
He was definitely thinking about it, but it looks like he's going to stick with his guns. We still don't know, where Fate or Nuke is or anything like that. They could all be at level 2. But his party's got a bit of beatdown potential. There's large knives and an iron hammer for the fighter if anyone's interested. Looks like we are. So a little bit of offensive weaponry to start with. So we should be off to the races pretty well okay here.
Yep, looks like both players are headed straight to the Temple of Fiends. But first we're going to have a few imps. They're going to promptly run. So they're not worried about experience at all.
Yeah, if you picked up XXXX, it's gonna instant kill anything under 300 HP that doesn't resist death. That includes Garland. Ooh, and a light axe right off the start. It's a fine weapon for your fighters. So all of a sudden things are turning up.
And an opal shield, which you could probably sell if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm gonna suspect they're gonna liquidate that. You don't know where the tail is now, if you'll ever get to use the opal shield, and of course you've also got an Aegis shield kicking around somewhere that you could find instead. So we'll see the XXXX come out. That's it for Garland, and we're off to the races here.
Yep, everybody say GG to Garland. And we're gonna start off with the canoe, which is happens very often. Well, boom, tail.
Okay, well, maybe you could hang on to the opal shield if you want. It's as tied for top in terms of absorb. We'll see if they want the money or not. The canoe, of course, is a huge progression item that obsoletes both the ship and the bridge. Neither one of them may turn up for a while now, and you're going to be looking now directly for the floater next.
Yes, indeed, and unfortunately, though, they did draw the canoe, so they're going to have to take that long walk all the way around to. Well, they'll check out the dwarf cave first, and maybe they'll find the bridge there. But more often than not, it'll be a nice walk all the way down to Elfland.
Yeah, I predict a long counterclockwise march in their future. Say hello to the elves before we even get there, and now it becomes the adventure to find the floater.
Yes, indeed, and unless the floater isn't there, in which case it'll be a quest for the ship. Yes.
It's possible, but it could be a ship canal seed where you need both of those things to get to a floater that's further away. But it's also likely that you'll just find the floater out of hand, and that would save you the time there. So that's probably what they're both hoping for, just to save time. But the reality is they're neck and neck off the start. So still, obviously, very much anybody's game at this point.
Indeed, and nice little find over in the dwarf cave, the pro ring. Which gives a nice little increase to one's absorb. Virtually anybody can equip that.
Yeah, like anybody. That's a fine piece of hand armor. Yeah. It also, instant death resist, 8 absorb. It's your best hand armor for the rest of the entire game. So it's nice to find one right off the start.
And it looks like Fuzzymage is not dealing with the marsh cave quite yet. Which I'm not surprised at.
Yeah, there was some talk about whether or not they wanted to incentivize the Marsh Cave in the Swiss round to see more of it. I think the Court of Public Opinion eventually kiboshed that idea, so the Marsh Cave is not incentivized. There's no guarantees you'll find anything useful there. And the only one that is worthy of note is the Ice Cave. And since they have the canoe, they're going to go visit the canoe sage in Crescent Lake. You can get to him, and he may well have your floater, so that's probably the first destination.
Looks like we have Fire 3 as a level 3 spell. That's pretty nice. And not much over on the white magic side. We're about to check out level 4. And, there's Fade and Cure 4 while we're at it, but I think we're only interested in Fade. Let's check out the black spells. Zap. Yeah, not much there.
Yeah, Monoci's Red Mage pick not turning up roses yet. He can't learn Fade. Zap is no substitute for Fade. So obviously he's going to carry on and stick with it and hope things turn around for him. But so far it's looking like... yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I suppose, though, the Red Mage does get to equip some stronger weapons, so, you do have that going for you, at least early game. And we do find gold bracelets over in the armor store, by the way, so that's always a nice thing to know about. Monoci's going to pick up 4 copper bracelets and equip those. So a nice little boost to absorb, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, the gold bracelet was...
cremate, goodbye.
Our first ugly wipe of the round. And
did we find cabins or tents in the item stores?
I thought I saw cheap cabins or tents, but I could be hallucinating.
And here we go again. And Fuzzymage is going to have to fold again. And it's all red mages over on Monoci's side. Level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6 for both of them.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong
there's the answer to my question. That the Monoci picked up cabins.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with XXXX against a single target. But, oh boy, when Karibe's pack and Rub show up, you can forget about it. So that's going to be just about an instant reset, yeah.
Wow, this is pretty crazy, and Fuzzymage is about to get the bad news. There it is.
Yeah, they're going to start dropping like flies. Karibe's always show up in huge packs. Anytime they have something ugly like that. Oh boy.
Although it looks like there's the one case where the one thing where the white mage is paying off so far. Life 2, so got the 4th light warrior back.
Yep. Monoci's side having the extra charges of XXXX has also paid off a little bit too, so there's definitely pros and cons both sides. We've got a rather expensive bottle that is eventually going to block these runners. Yeah, that's a little steep. Level 6 has Life 1, and nothing much on the Black Mage side. Ice 2, best thing there.
And now it's time to check out what the stage spot is. They will award the cube. Okay. And actually Fuzzy's like, okay, fine, I'll just get that later. And I'll just check out something else.
Yeah, I think the play here now is the incentivized Ice Cave chest. The emerging meta is that you have to exhaust your incentivized options before you spend your time speculating on where things might be. So if the floater is in the incentivized Ice Cave and it, by all accounts, has a good shot of being there, you've got to do it.
I'm kind of wondering, though, if Fuzzy's going to go up to Provoker, actually.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, I forgot about the fact they didn't have the bridge, right? So they have to take the long way all the way to Provoker, but it's also, 50-50 shot that your floater's going to be here instead. It just about has to be one of these two incentivized locations that remain.
Mm-hmm. And getting very unlucky with the can't runs here, where Monoci's just quad Xing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He revived a light warrior. Okay. I was wondering, what? He didn't start back at level 2. All right, let's see. Level 2 spells, fast, and warp. Oh boy, warp. That's a great spell.
Yeah, fast and warp are both big time, and he'll be happy to see those. Yeah, warp is a runner's dream. It is super useful, has all kinds of sneaky routing utility. Now, both of these guys know what they're doing, so they're both going to get the same amount of time savings out of it. So it's not really something you can use that much to your advantage in a race like this, but just the general time savings makes you feel better about it. And
all right, here we go.
Yeah, I guess if there was one finer point to put on it, with 2 red mages, he gets all those extra charges of warp early on, so he can dive a little deeper, use other level 2 magic without worrying about running out of charges, that kind of thing.
And the prize for defeating the pirates is the rod. So they'll be able to go into Earth Cave once that comes around. And it's time to buy some cabins and move on to the next destination.
Now, Monoci's got some math to do in his head now. He's got warp from the black mage side, and he's got exit on the white mage side, and heal 3. So it depends on what's his preference here. You almost certainly want some charges of warp to do the Ice Cave exploit. But of course, exit is generally the superior spell when you don't need the specific one floor warp capability of the warp spell.
And it looks like calculations are just about done, and it seems like the 2 red mages are doing a bit of a variety, I think, of spells.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see, exit on one, warp on the other, split them up a bit so you've got both, access to both. You don't really need 2 guys that can cast exit. Of course, if one of them dies, you've got that redundancy issue that you can help yourself out with, but he's going to have to kill these pirates one at a time, which is a little bit inconvenient. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, Bane. Forget about it. They're dead. How did I miss that?
It looks like Fuzzymage is headed off to the Peninsula of Power with that light axe.
Yeah, the light axe is going to help him out here. He's going to do a bit of grinding because Ice Cave is a pretty dangerous place to throw a really low-level party. It has large packs of enemies. They can often ambush you, of course, with enemy skill shuffle and enemy script shuffle. They can be packing anything. So that could be doomsday to send a really low single-digit level party. So he's going to take some time here and grind some levels.
And I'm predicting there's going to be a reset out of Fuzzymage in just a second because Quad X failed twice, even after some damage went to the Zombol. Or does it just not work on Zombol?
It doesn't work on anything with death resist. I think that includes all the undead.
Ah, that's what it is. Might be resetting anyway. Oh, look at that. 2 damage to for the kill. And good for 1,000 points and multiple level ups for the Black Belt and the White Mage.
Looks like Monochi's not interested in the pop grind. I don't know if he has any houses to restore his magic charges or what his plan is here. Maybe he's going to go grind the first couple floors. Oh no, he's heading to Ice Cave. He's taking the scenic route, but that is where his destination is. And
yeah. Oh, Team Tyro has won the first bout.
Yeah. He got some levels before by XXXXing all these Hydras, and he's sticking with that plan. You know, the old level up as you go thing. It's always a great, if you can route it in, grind your levels while you're traveling, you get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And so, Monochi now carving out a geographic lead as he's closer to the Ice Cave that we think they need to get to, and gaining levels at the same time.
Yeah, so I would say currently Monochi looks to have the advantage, but still very early on. We're only 13 minutes into our competition this evening, and we begin the Ice Cave. Hero run through the first floor. Oh, we have a mandatory battle, images and race, and
we've got a light axe.
How are we going to get through this?
We're going to get through it with the light axe. They're also not immune to being stopped, so this is just to kind of line him up, and then the light axe should take him out.
Yeah, and that should be fine. The images are doing some special stuff, but...
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
There's going to be some decent EXP here, too.
Yep.
I'm curious to see how many times he's going to do things like cast stop in battles like this. When it's, 8 enemies, it's one of those forgotten spells like stop. Why would you waste your time with something like that? Well, it's some of the only AoE he's got, and it works on undead, works on low-level enemies, of course, even better. But the real play here is the light axe and the run. Oh boy, stunned the warrior.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
and
that's
boy.
Yeah, he's had enough of that. Yeah. Wraith packs like that. That's what I was talking about when I said people are nervous about Ice Cave because of the big groups of enemies. When you get wraiths that can hit hard, you can really frustrate yourself if you're too low level to enter. So now we'll see if the pendulum swings back to Fuzzymage's side, as he's been doing a slightly more conservative grind in the Peninsula Power instead of throwing himself into this meat grinder here.
Yeah, we will indeed find out as we're going to go cockatrices and mummies, and looks like we're going to be fine with this battle for the most part. Now, Fuzzymage has plenty of money to, well, he's going to pick up some houses, and there's a ton of cabins now. So he's gonna be all set, ready to go with those no fair resets.
Yeah, the houses are a beauty because you can then do your grind wherever you like. If the early floor of ice suits your fancy for grinding, you can stay there for a bit, fight some of those large packs of undead with the light axe, then get out, throw your house up, and start fresh and dive into it. I really like that kind of strategy myself, but it is expensive because houses are $2,000 a pop here.
All right, looks like Fuzzymage is heading on back to the ice. Well, he's on his way to the ice cave, I should say. Monoci defeated a mandatory undead battle he's trying to find his way to floor 3 and runs into another unrunnable battle.
Yeah, the Wraiths are hitting hard. Not as bad as the Geists. They have a little more HP, though, or he just didn't seem to connect with the extra damage. Stomp is... Oh, boy. And the Wraiths are hitting pretty hard, too. Never mind. Forget what I said before.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a butt whipping right there.
The reality is the copper bracelets are just not very good. It's too bad he didn't find any chain armor. The red mages can equip it right off the bat, and it's just as good as silver bracelets or even silver armor, but silver armor tends to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like he's just not got the kind of thing you want. A little under geared here, and I'm not sure what level his black belt is, and if he has a copper bracelet on, because that could be a mistake too. With black belt absorb fixes in play, a black belt's absorb will be equal to his level if he is completely unequipped. If he's equipped with anything, it'll be the normal absorb calculation instead. So a copper bracelet will give you a 4 absorb, but if your black belt's level 8, you're better off naked because then you're going to get 8 absorb.
Yeah, the good news from Monoci's side is one of the red mages is still alive, and that red mage still has warp. So, if I'm not mistaken, because if he didn't have warp, he probably would have reset by now. So
yeah, I think he's really keen to see what's in the chest there. Is that the floater? Because it probably ought to be. There it is.
Called it.
I called it.
And there's a silver bracelet. Okay.
Yeah. And hopefully, yes, he's got a level 8 black belt. He should be taking that copper bracelet off.
And he's got to get through this one last floor.
See, this is something you don't see. Oh boy. That silver bracelet helped him out a bit there. All right, and he's out with his floater and a no-nonsense approach. He doesn't want to see any more of those chests. No matter how tempting they are, he's pretty certain he would have wiped if he had gone any deeper, and he may well have.
Yeah. Exactly.
We'll
he's off to the I'm sorry. He's off to the Ryukon Desert to pick up his airship.
He sure is. He can't wait to get there. We'll see if Fuzzymage has a slightly stronger, slightly higher level party. If he gets creative and tries to spelunk the rest of the chests, or if he just gets out. Oh yeah, he's throwing around fire 3 like a boss. He's got a few more levels indeed.
All right, and it looks like Fuzzymage is going to pick up the floater. And is he going to bail out at this point? Yep, there it is. Exit. Boom. Goodbye.
Yeah, see you later. I'll take it.
And it's official. All right, Monoci's going to revive the other red mage, and we'll spend the night at the inn, and then probably continue on. There it is.
Yeah, Monochi's got about a 1 minute lead or so. And that's what he was able to get out of avoiding the pop grind, doing a little bit of leveling on the way, and then it did take him a couple tries to get all the way down to the floater chest, but they both checked exactly the same chest and are almost exactly the same level now. and he takes to the skies. Time to go for a tour.
And where's his first destination? It looks to be... Ah, yes, the Isles, because, yes, got a tail.
Yeah,
We're gonna
usually
get a promotion soon.
it's an interesting play. Doing it this early when you have a black belt is gonna like clip his wings big time in terms of magic defense. So if you plan on leaving him, face down in the dirt, then it's not a big deal. But if you were actually going to keep him around for any meaningful length of time, I don't know if you want to promote just yet.
Well, currently it looks like a little bit of treasure hunt as we find the white shirt for free in 2 spells.
Yeah, that's a good one, especially if Invis 2 turns out to be, red mage not learnable. That's going to really help him out. There's no price quite like free.
Well, I mean, I suppose they could give you money, like what's happening with these 3 chests, 4,200 money.
Boy, this is just like the treasure trove. You just looted the armory. Oh, the Zeus gauntlet. Speaking of free, that gives you all of the Lit 2 charges you can shake a stick at. And with how skimpy the game has been with AoE so far, he might be happy to see that too.
And it's Catman time. Alright, Fuzzymage is going to... I'm not quite sure where Fuzzymage is going to go. Oh, yep, going to go to Sarda's cave. We're going to see what the item is, as Monoci has elected to promote. The loot is found over in that cave. So the loot is one of those endgame items that you will need to get past the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Fuzzymage now going to check out those treasures. North of that, and finds a useless TNT. And a Sparkover Bridge.
There's your early game progression kit right there, just tucked away, ruby locked.
For those who don't get the reference, the Sparkover Bridge in Dragon Warrior Randomizer is basically a bridge that takes you to like one tile and nothing else. And so as Silverfire just last night just carried it over to this, where the Sparkover Bridge is something you get while you've already had the airship, so it's totally useless.
It sure is. Monoci's going to get his useless bridge and useless TNT as well. Now, in subsequent rounds of this tournament, we may shuffle the NPC rewards. And in that case, finding the TNT actually finds you a replacement incentivized item from Narek, which sort of is a misdirection, because that thing could also be valueless, but at least you've got to have an adventure returning it.
Alright, Monoci proceeds to pick up the loot. And what's the next destination? Could go to the Earth Cave right away. Doesn't.
You can with the rod, but you're going to get stuck in the situation where it's kind of sparse on the chests. And wherever you go, you're going to want to go to a place where you can do some looting while you're there, I think. On the other hand, we're not at go mode yet, of course. We still got lots to go. We need a $65,000 bottle, but we do know where it is. And we need to find out what the robot's got. And, of course, the crown.
And looks like Fuzzymage is electing to power up as well.
Yeah, I think the big deal here is the promoted Red Wizard gets access to some more of the level 4 white magic, and now they can cast Fade. And that's a pretty big deal. That probably was enough single-handedly to swing it over.
Yeah, and I would definitely believe that Monoci does have the solid lead for now. But we're only 26 minutes in, and there's still plenty of Final Fantasy Randomizer coming up. Alright.
Yeah, he's gonna sneak in here and just quickly loot Matoya's cave. Getting a little greedy. That might not have been necessary until you had the crystal. It's an incentivized location game, this Swiss round. And so Monoci understands that he is heading right for ordeals to see what's there. The next most obvious incentivized item to go find is the cube robot. We'll see what he's got.
Oh boy! So right now it's not a good race for Team Steak. It's 2-0 in favor of Tyro so far. Fuzzymage down the volcano. Monoci on the way to ordeals.
We'll see if Fuzzy clears this place out, every single chest, or if he skips some of the more obscure ones here.
But with there being so many treasure chests and possibly some really wicked weapons, this is I definitely can understand this play.
Oh, the armory for sure. Some of these things are kind of out of the way. The way the Swiss flags are set up, you should be able to get everything you need just from the incentive locations, especially when things like the bridge and TNT get shuffled out of incentivized locations because they're not necessary. So you can probably get all your go mode items just from the incentives. So any chest you check are, of course, looking for gear. Now, we don't have very much good gear yet. No ribbons, no endgame weapons, so you got to do it. But do you really check all the out-of-the-way ones is the real question.
Monoci has begun the Temple of... the Castle of Ordeals. And if this is your first time watching this, Final Fantasy Randomizer, welcome to our community. Glad to have you aboard. You'll notice that the pillars are totally randomized, so they have no idea where these pillars take you to, but hopefully they'll wind you up to the next floor where you can pick up the incentivized item there.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, you can just stick to the bottom pillar every single time and get it all your way through, but in the randomizer, they're shuffled and take you to different destinations throughout the place, so there's only one path successfully through ordeals. This was sort of the inspiration for the eventual floor and entrance shuffle that's being worked on in the alpha version of this randomizer. It was just take the idea of what we were doing in ordeals and extend it out to the entire game. Now, these red wizards are a little bit more of a force to be reckoned with now, wielding Fire 3 against the undead and Fate as well.
And will Monoci finally get through here? No? Gotta be real close now. And I did not see what happened to Fuzzymage.
I think he grabbed the chest after the fires and then warped out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love...
Took his winnings.
Yeah, it's so easy to dive the first couple floors of the volcano because there's so many lava tiles. You don't have to get in a lot of encounters, so it's kind of handy to be able to grab those out-of-the-way chests, warp out, run down to the next floor, repeat.
Monoci knocking out some mummies. Those are always worth a lot of points. And will this finally be it? There it is!
He gets to the top. I don't think he took the fastest path, but he got there all the same. The much maligned sorcerer. In the vanilla game, the wielder of Death Touch and one of the most dangerous enemies you can fight. They can just kill anybody. In the randomizer, when their poor Death Touch is shuffled away, they become just shallow husks of their former selves.
Well, right now, all we're seeing in these treasure chests in the vault is just money and rather uneventful items. But Fuzzymage is electing to exit and take his winnings and go home because you do need 65,535 money for the bottle.
Yeah, that's an expensive bottle. It's going to be a bit of a pain because that's cash you'd rather spend on higher level spells if you need them, and those gold bracelets that are 9,000 bucks a piece and so on. Ooh, nightmares, stuff of nightmares. Flame sword's a respectable sword, better than most of what we got so far. It's in the same ballpark as the light axe. So,
and then the Bane sword on top of that.
Yeah, the good news is with the promoted party, all of that stuff's equipable. Bane sword's probably more useful for the Bane than the sword. Monoci's running on flames here as he gets to the end of this ordeals.
Oh, gold bracelet. Okay, that'll help.
And he finally decides to pop that silver one on, too.
And the slab. So that's something that will be required for to get into the Mirage Tower.
Yes, and we should now anticipate the crown being potentially in the waterfall.
Alright, that's it. Monoci's out. It's official. And he's on his way back to the airship to his next destination as we look further into the fire volcano and we see a Grey Worm.
And Monoci takes out the rare and elusive Saria. Pretty good EXP enemy for a relatively easy iguana clone. The Saria you can vote for as one of the potential mascots. Have your vote. Are you interested in the common iguana, the much maligned Agama, or the elusive Saria that Monoci just captured?
Alright, we're going to look a little bit deeper in the volcano, and we're just going to see more money. Because that just seems to be what you always get, is money, but what? Well...
Ooh, Sun Sword, right? And that silver armor is something that Monoci would have liked to have found. He can probably chuck one of his 2 opal shields, unless he's saving it for vendor trash. He's got some other stuff he could let go of, too.
Yeah, so Monoci's halfway up to the mandatory amount to get the bottle. And a heal staff. Okay, so that every use for free restores about 15 hit points to all players. But still, no super sword yet. We haven't seen the Vorpal. We haven't seen the Masamune. We haven't seen the Fence Sword. We haven't seen the Katana. Although the Katana really is... Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so Fuzzymage's gold problems are done with a 2 chests over $75,000.
Dollars, and dollars.
What would you do with $75,000?
I'd buy a bottle and a gold bracelet.
You want to buy a Lamborghini or something like that?
Maybe not a gold bracelet. I think he's already got enough gold bracelets. But the bottle's a taker.
And it's off to some Gamma facts. Oh, not anymore with Blaze. Ouch.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be sticking around this for long. Although this really does sort of streamline the operation if your goal is to grind up that knight so you can take out Carrie. No, his goal is to grind up everyone so he can take out Carrie. I don't see double dipping here. I think if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. But his party is pretty low, so maybe he is just going to exit out. Or he's braver than I am.
Alright, Monoci's now in the volcano. Gonna find a lot of the same stuff Fuzzymage did, because if he didn't find the same stuff, we'd be playing on different seeds. So
It's happened before in this tournament. Some
yeah, we don't
mistakes have been made, some matches
that.
have been replayed, but I don't think we want to do that anymore. So,
all right, here we go. Carry time.
this is brave. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah.
White shirt will help, of course.
Okay,
and
fast.
He's got fast too, so he's got some tools. But Carry starts out with dark, which is the best thing he could have hoped for, pretty much. There gets the Invis 2 off for me to get the fast off, and things are looking pretty good for Fuzzymage now. He's breathing a little bit easier already.
Yeah, and then the Fade spell, that's going to help. And Quad X, hopefully he'll be last to act, that Black Wizard.
Look
and
at that.
we'll just do a 300 damage Fade and call it right there.
That came together like the A-team for Fuzzy. Like, if the first turn Carry one-shots his fighter or something cruel like that, it's a completely different battle. But he got away with that, like, it made it look easy.
And look at all that money. Fuzzymage can buy just about anything he wants. And Evil Bobby in chat a couple of minutes ago was asking, can you find a Lambo for 75k? Well, maybe not anywhere, but I bet you could find a Lambo for 150k. Monoci still grinding on the way to completing his objectives. Level 14 now.
Yep. I think he's just trying to put some daylight between him and his comfort zone for taking on Carry when he gets down to the bottom here. He's going to be happy to find some of this other gear. He's got a promoted party too, so he can use it all, and by the time he gets to the bottom, he should be pretty well equipped.
And now Fuzzymage will accept the cube. And it's official. Okay, Monoci now charging through. We'll probably pick up the rest of the boxes, and looks like it might be another carry attempt.
Yeah, the way he's been playing it, like meticulously grabbing everything, that just screams, I'm gonna stay here until I've got the levels and gear to take on Carry. I don't think anybody wants to dive Volcano twice just because it's like, you don't need any key item to get to the bottom of it, so when you make the decision to come here, you hopefully make the decision to come here once.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Oh, down goes the black belt, but that's perfectly fine.
Poor Will. He was really just there to get one-shotted by somebody eventually, and it happened.
Now, I don't think Monoci knows about the Agamas yet. Might be in for a rude awakening here in a minute.
Oh boy.
And there it is.
Oh, exactly enough damage to kill Stug. 244 on the dot. That's going to put a damper on things.
All that for an Iron Gauntlet.
Yeah, he's down to his last charge of warp, so he's going to run it through this floor because he can do it without taking any fights. And then use his last charge, and now he can probably get out. So he really wanted that Iron Gauntlet, and the EXP he got on the way there. Looks like he's going to bail all the way back to town and resurrect his party and try again. That's a bit of a time sinker for Monoci, but for the first time I've seen him actually play something safe here and do that instead of pushing on and trying to take on Carry with 2 party members. So
we have
cutting his
Wall.
losses.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have Wall and Nuke as level 5 spells, as well as Quake, but you got Nuke. You're not gonna cast Quake.
Yeah, there's not very many enemies in the game that are going to be vulnerable to Quake and yet have enough HP that you're better off with that instead of Nuke. So you'd be happy to see it. Question from chat. How long is the average race currently? So the good winners are winning right around 90 minutes. Yeah, and then depending on if it's a harder seed or less experienced players, it can trickle up to about the 2-hour mark. And of course, it depends on a lot of things because it's a randomizer.
Unless you're Tristal. If you're Tristal, you're done in 71 minutes like he did in round 1.
Your opponent's left scratching their head, wondering if there was anything they could possibly have done short of like sneaking up behind him while he was playing and hitting him over the head with something.
Alright, Fuzzymage is off to Ordeals to deal with the maze. Now, wasn't it that it used to be that if you warp too many times through the pillars, the game crashed? But I think you fixed that, right?
I didn't, but I'll take credit for it. No, you're absolutely right. So the game uses the Nintendo's stack memory to keep track of every time you go up a flight of stairs. And eventually, of course, if you go over enough flights of stairs, it'll soft lock the game by overflowing the stack. And Entroper, finally, we cleverly stumbled on a solution where when the game detects that you're reaching that limit, it just copies the entire stack down a floor, meaning that if you cast warp, it'll still work until about the 24th warp. So if you have a fully loaded party where all 4 members have 9 charges of warp, and you walk up 25 flights of stairs and then cast warp, 25 times, the last one won't take you back to where you were before. It will take you to the world map. And that was the really complicated fix that allowed us to have infinite stair recursion now. But there you go, bug fixed.
Yep, great play by Fuzzymage, taking advantage of that warp spell to backtrack any mistakes, and was very quickly got through this castle.
Question from chat, from Tristal, in fact. Is the Ordeals teleport issue fixed in 2.2.1? I believe it is, yes.
Fuzzymage picks up the slab, doesn't even bother with the zombie Ds, and as we see Monoci pick up 75,500 money.
G. Some good G.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuzzy and Monoci both basically clipping off all the corners they can. Get the item you want, get out. Now, Monoci did take a battle against the zombie Ds, but they both just got out right after they found the floater. They're obviously respecting each other enough not to waste any time doing any extra treasure hunting for gear when they know that the real race is to pick up all the incentive items, beat all the bosses. That's the focus.
All right, here we go. Carry fight number 2. Looks to be in very good position. This is probably going... Carrie's going to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good-looking party now. Lots of HP and levels. Red wizards that are dripping with powerful magic, so...
And a black belt dealing 9 damage.
Hey, man. He's just here for a good time.
Oh, and now Gary stopped and he's quad X'd and get out of here.
Yeah. Quad X is a lovely finish. That's like excellent, finish him. It's sort of a finishing move. They got to be like dazed and staggered, less than 300 HP, just waiting for it, and then boom, just rip their spine right out. Erased, terminated. So we relegate Carrie to the dustbin of history, and the last incentivized item is the Cube Robot. And after Monoci pops in here to buy his bottle, that's probably his next destination. Oh, he just got a little cash happy on the lives and now doesn't have enough for his bottle, so we'll see if he's going to have to make yet another trip at some point in the future.
Ooh.
So at the 3/4 of an hour mark, we can do a quick recap. They were off to a neck-and-neck start. Found the light axe right off the bat that helped with Undead and Temple of Fiends. They both used Quad X, which they've had since level 1, to deal with Garland and many of the other encounters they fought. They got the canoe from the King of Corneria and the tail right away from the Princess. That allowed them both to class change as early as they liked. because they both picked up the floater rather quickly and efficiently from the ice cave. Vicky's had the rod, which they haven't put to use yet, and they both also picked up the cube and bought the bottle. And that virtually catches you up. They've both also just defeated Carrie. It's a pretty close race here. Fuzzymage has already visited Lefane as well, by the look of it.
And a little something I should mention here is Fuzzymage is in his second SRL race. His first SRL race, he beat Edge Figaro in a case where he had a red dragon grind, and it beat out 2 tries through the Temple of Fiends from Edge Figaro.
So new to the scene, but already a top contender here, giving Monoci, who was, co-champion of the league that just wrapped up, a good run here in a very close race. Stay tuned, keep yourself buckled in. This is by no means over, one way or the other.
All right, let's release that bottle here in just a moment. Go check some spells real quick. Not really much there. Oh, Monoci did add the bottle, and there's the Oxyale. Okay.
Yeah, our tracker knows what they're doing. I just don't pay attention, apparently. Well, with that in mind, let's thank our tracker. It's Melee Wizard. Many thanks to him for his hard work throughout this tournament and throughout all the tournaments that we have on Randomania. Has been a big help. He also helps out. I know always helps out with Dragon Warrior Randomizer a lot, and I think helps out a lot with Zelda 1. Like, pick a randomizer, he'll help out. It's so many thanks to him. Also thanks to Noristra, the head administrator of Randomania, doing the restreaming tonight, doing an excellent job as always. Keeping us in line. So many thanks to him for his hard work. Alrighty, so they crisscross pass here. They sort of high-fived as they flew past each other. Monoci turned in the bottle to pick up his Oxyale before going to Lefane. Fuzzymage did the reverse of that, popped into Lefane, translated the slab, head to Lefane to pick up the chime, and then went and got the Oxyale. Monoci is steps away from receiving his chime, and he'll perhaps follow Fuzzymage into the Mirage Tower because it is nearby.
So Fuzzymage is elected to check out these boxes just to see if there's just a decent sword, and is it finally time for Team Steak?
Looks like this one's going on the barbecue. Fuzzymage picks up a ship, does nothing but waste a few seconds, so he waits for the fanfare to play. We haven't needed that since we knew we found the floater in the ice cave.
And there it is, Team Steak 1, Team Tyro 2.
These poor giants just ruthlessly erased by Quad X.
Alright, Fuzzymage going back in. Ooh, wow, that's an interesting set. 3 wizard mummies, 3 cockatrices, and 3 perilous.
And he's forced to run just based on time wastings alone. I feel for him. Those whiz mummies are pretty good source of EXP, although he's getting a little higher in levels now, and might not be what he's looking for. He skips the less than greater than chests and then immediately has a change of heart and heads back to loot them. It's 10 chests in such close proximity. If you're checking anything, you're checking these. And with 0 ribbons so far, I'd be checking chests.
Indeed, as I didn't see Fuzzymage's treasure chest because we were concentrating on the Tyro, but did come back and see Monoci's boxes, and he picked up a very awesome item, the ship.
It's beautiful. And then when he finishes dealing with this whole chaos thing and saving the world, he's going to go for a nice voyage in it.
Yeah.
Monoci treating us to a bit of the poison screech. Final Fantasy
And
1.
that's it.
Yeah, he's had enough of that. He skips the whole thing. He's like,
Well,
boy,
there's the adamant. Okay, so that'll grab the Excalibur.
It's tempting. It's a little out of the way. I think he's gonna... If you think you've got what it takes to defeat Tiamat without it, just, pop by another time. Ideally, you wrote that in when you're doing the Mystic Key quest if you want, because then you can loot all those other chests. But if you need it, you need it. But I don't think Fuzzymage thinks he needs it, so he's going to save it for later. This is the kind of thing that you do when you're racing. You make intelligent decisions to save as much time as possible flying around. That if you're just playing this casually, you darn right you go back and get the Excalibur so you can tear stuff up with it. So remember, this game can be enjoyed in multiple ways. And right now we're doing it at the highest level of competition with a nice tournament here, but that doesn't have to be the only way you can play it. So if you're watching this and thinking it might be fun, it is.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Cerebus is with poison. Ouch.
Poison is no good. Damage poison?
Yes, it was damage poison, like 150 damage a pop. Now it's time to say hi to the Blue Dragon.
Blue D is a popular grinding spot because the Blue D is a trap tile that you can reliably step on to fight them as many times as you want. And the adjacent tiles are the bottom row of a room, meaning they are safe tiles that won't trigger encounters. So you can alternately step back and forth on the Blue D without the risk of getting in any other fight along the way.
Zardy in chat has mentioned that Agama and Soria are tied in the big mascot poll.
Yeah, nobody's going to vote for Iguana. I mean, whether you like the obscure Sarias or the common, much maligned Agama is up to you, but the Iguana is just a useless waste of time.
So we are still O for ribbons and O for big time swords. And Fuzzymage is like, screw it, I'm gonna never mind, I'm gonna check out some of these boxes, but skip the second floor.
Monoci's just skipping things left and right, so they're neck and neck here, but they're both really playing fast and loose with this glorious pile of chests.
Well, it's Monoci who finds opal armor and a mage staff.
Yeah, Fuzzy should find those, because if you're going to check the top room and the right room, you're probably also going to check the quick left room. The left room here that Monoci is just exiting is another room where you're walking back and forth along the bottom row of the room, so it doesn't trigger encounters. So it's a pretty quick check with very low risk.
Oh, this is interesting. Fighting whiz vamps. Oh, there's the katana. And not much else.
A quick warp here, yeah.
Katana's not really all that good, because that's only good for the thief. If I
it's all right.
Okay, here we go.
Yo, yeah.
Warmech
Time for the hype. Time for the hype. So far, no Warmech.
Well, we are going to see a lot of dead sorcerers.
Poor things. A sorcerer without death touch is like a day without sunshine, and they don't have death touch.
Yeah, the only thing this is doing is burning off some time, because this battle is mandatory.
And Fuzzy runs away from a couple of whiz vamps. They're pretty good EXP. So are these slimes here. Monoci knows that he's going to go for a combination run and fade. If you run, you get the run. If you fade, you get the fade. 3 of them's not worth it, though. Jaws GST there in chat says, Warmech is too rare of an encounter. Jaws, we have just the thing for you coming up in the beta website.
Yeah, let's we can bring that up in a second, but first we've got a Tiamat fight over in Monoci's side.
trying to brack the Tiamat.
Well, that didn't seem like a very powerful spell, but that was against an Opal Armor Knight.
There goes.
There's the big damage.
No luck with any of the bracks. Tiamat is weak against poison stone, which is what brack is. It turns you to stone and then you says shattered into pieces. And broken into pieces, but that's not going to happen. Looks like he's going to have to kill Tiamat the good old-fashioned way. I think he's now out of brack charges completely. But this Tiamat is...
Fuzzymage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Fuzzymage on the Bridge of Destiny now. We're not even 1 hour into the seed.
Both runners very close to their second orb. Now he switches to Bane. It has a slightly lower hit chance than brack. Same element, though.
Well, what's left? Hoping for a Quad X now. Or just deal 666 damage.
The Mark of the Beast takes down Tiamat after all that.
Yeah, that just doesn't sound right.
And Tiamat is down. Monoci lights his second orb. And the last one. Time to backtrack now. He's got his Oxyale already sourced from the bottom of that lake in Gaia by that kind fairy that he rescued from the bottle. So it's time to pop into Onrak, or at his leisure, the waterfall cave to go visit the cube robot, who we're pretty sure is sitting on a jeweled crown that he needs.
Monoci failed to get Bane and Brack and everything. Fuzzymage gets it like first try or second try.
That's what happens. Keeps the race nice and close.
Yeah, Fuzzymage is like, here, let me show you how to do it.
And you gotta cast it just so.
Wow, these red ankylos are being a pain in the neck, but gets away.
It's not too hard to run from Ankylos because they're like 80% shell. The other 20% is just the gaps between the shells. And there's that ship that you ordered. Bobbing up and down nicely in the Quinerian dock, waiting for a leisure cruise when you have some time.
Yeah, what was that? That was like, that was found back in, oh, that was Mirage Tower, right?
Yeah, the boat in the box and Mirage Tower. Self-parking, though. It's like a, self-driving boat. Time to bust out some Fire 3 and torch some mummies.
And an Excalibur sword for Fuzzy.
Yeah. He could hand me down that sun sword to one of his red wizards, if he wanted. I mean, no pressure. At this point, the red wizards are going to be casting mostly magic, but it doesn't hurt.
Looks like we're going to have a temporary divergence. Fuzzymage going down the Earth Cave.
And then down to a dead end. We weren't kidding when we said this is basically his second SRL race. And for someone who's still routing the Earth Cave, he's doing an incredible job tonight, taking on Monoci.
All right, let's see. Let's see if we have Out of Bounds bat this very late night. As a matter of fact, it's become a new day where I'm at right now.
Hey,
12:02 in the morning.
Is it late night Final Fantasy Randomizer, or just really early morning Final Fantasy Randomizer?
We'll leave that to chat to decide. Out of Bounds bat.
There he is. That's a good luck omen.
And three wizard mummies.
That's a good EXP omen. All this annoying being ambushed is not the greatest. There's the Fire 3. That should kind of grease the wheels here as we get things moving. And with all those rotting mummy carcasses burning away in the background, that'll leave a nice setting for him to patiently clear the treasure chest out of this room and talk to this robot.
Heel helmet, and there is indeed the crown. Last box. Wow, still 0 for ribbons here.
If you're watching this and you're wondering to yourself, how do the commentators know what the supposedly shuffled NPCs have before they even talk to them? We have this concept of incentivized items and incentivized chests, and the way the flags have been set up in the Swiss rounds are such that you can tell, if depending on how the early items go, if there's an exact matchup between the remaining items and the remaining incentivized locations. And so by the process of elimination, I knew that crown, which was going to be placed in an incentive location, which was the last thing they didn't get yet, had to be in the last location they hadn't checked yet. So no magic, just familiarity with the item placement mechanics.
And as ETAP has mentioned in chat, petrified poison gargoyles. Ouch.
Nobody likes gargoyles. I like argoyles even less. Any river encounter, no. There's a lot of things I don't like. I'm just going to throw that out there.
But that is one of the big reasons why this randomizer is so fun. It's not just the fact that sometimes you can get like the mass immune in like the first 3 boxes. It's, you know, sometimes those really challenging encounters where you have to figure out how to get around them or get through them.
This game is definitely at its best when you encounter some ridiculously hard challenges that you can defeat through clever usage of spells you don't normally use, or interesting manipulations of the RNG table to avoid certain encounters as much as possible, or just honest to God resetting and trying to get lucky repeatedly until you finally get it. Like, there's a bunch of different ways you can tackle the challenges this game throws at you, and that's probably the most fun thing about it when played like in a tense race kind of setting.
And I believe we have a gray shark.
Yeah,
or the rundown count.
The round 1 cast of XXXX on the Gray Shark was somewhat aspirational. They can roll tons of HP, though it doesn't look like they're too bad tonight.
And now we're going to have the first appearance of Mwahahaha, the vampire. Well, at least in the Earth Cave.
So if Monoci managed to finish off Crack and still no ribbons.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The validation chest was 1 whole gold.
Yeah. There, your run is really valid now. You got an extra $1 to talk about it. If Monoci finishes off Crack and still no ribbons, do you go visit the mermaids?
Ooh, good question, because there really aren't a lot of chests left. There's a pro ring, though.
It's like a poor man's ribbon.
Oh, there's a ribbon. Floor 4 of the Earth Cave. So Fuzzymage finally has found a ribbon.
And of course you got all your key chests, too. But finding one is a good start. Now, the question gets even harder, maybe for some and easier for others, because now there's less ribbons to find there, but you still probably want a second one. So, do you go to mermaids anyway?
And let's cheer the fact that Monoci has found the ruby.
Yeah, he'll keep that for a nice light snack. The ruby really makes a nice light snack.
Well, I mean, hey, it's 12:07 here. I would call that officially a midnight snack.
It's a thing of beauty. I mean, sometimes you want something a little harder than, say, a topaz, but you're not going to eat a diamond. That's just going to just shatter your teeth. So you settle for a nice ruby. I don't eat a lot of rocks, but when I do, I choose a ruby. Okay. And we're both on fiend floors, so this route divergence has taken roughly equal time both routes so far. Although Monoci has also cleared out the waterfall.
Uh-oh, it might be... Oh, thank goodness. Arachnids with thunder. Oh my goodness, gotta get... Let's finish this cave off real quick.
Yeah, you've seen enough. I've seen enough. That's probably a harder battle than Lich. Lich is going to be done in a turn. I'm calling it. Ooh, never
Blizzard?
mind. Never mind. That was ugly. But, yeah.
And both bosses out and around as we are now all tied up at 3 orbs apiece.
And Fuzzy's going to pop in to the end. Did you drop in? It dropped down. And then he's going to head north. They're going to fly right through each other. Oh, horrible. I can't look. Oh, man. That was a near miss if there ever was. The air traffic controller and the Melmond Tower just about had a heart attack there, but I think they've escaped horrific tragedy and now traded places.
All right, so we are 67 minutes into this contest. Just about. Who is winning at this moment? I'm probably giving it to Monoci for now, because Fuzzymage still has to get the crown, which is going to take some time, and then has to go through that entire sea shrine. So I'd say Monoci's ahead maybe by a couple minutes.
Yeah, I presume it'll take him a bit less time to clear out Earth than it's going to take Fuzzy to negotiate both the waterfall and sea shrine. Depends how much time he has to wait for these pesky bats, though. And how many chests he's going to check looking for more ribbons. And whatever else he hopes to find. Of course, Mass Moon, for example.
Yeah, well, Monoci is still 0 for ribbons here, so it could result in a very challenging Temple of Fiends Revisited if he doesn't find one. Alright, so we're still just going through here. Looks like Fuzzymage's about to pick up the crown. And then probably we'll go through the Sunken Shrine next.
Both of them running into battles with 9 enemies. They're slowly picking away, wasting their time. But both able to escape. Fuzzy grabs his crown. He'll be relieved to find that. And next stop's going to be the Sunken Shrine for him.
We have Zardia was asking in chat if we've seen Thunder yet, and Melee Wizard just responded, our tracker has just responded, yes, we have on the Arachnids.
Not pretty. Monoci's just about to approach them, so he could lose a bit of his lead here if something goes horribly, horribly wrong.
And Monoci proceeds to get his one piece of gold.
That's why it's a G and not with like a plural or anything like that. 1 gold, 2 gold. It's a handy word.
Hey, I'm looking forward to the day that we give away 0 gold.
If the scaling is out of whack, it can happen.
All right, Monoci did go to that treasure trove, picks up a ribbon, so bet he's gonna be very happy to see that.
Especially because he didn't go to the mermaids, right? So he knows in the back of his mind that if he gets all the way to Topher and still no ribbons, there's a good chance there is one guarded by those lovely ladies. Then he did not find the time to visit, so that's what he gets. There still may be one there. We haven't seen anyone go there yet.
And looks like Fuzzymage is going to do the same thing Monoci did. Just go straight on down. Nice little hero run up and through there. And here is the what I like to call mandatory battle, because this battle is on the B side, so to speak, of the Pirates battle, and therefore it has to be the programmers have no choice, a mandatory battle.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to get around to separating the runnability of the A side and B side, but that's going to require some hackery of the battle loader. Oh no! Oh no, no, no. This is just about worst case scenario for Monoci. He's watching powerlessly as his whole team gets thundered away. Even if his fighter manages to escape here, that's all he needs.
And it looks like that will happen so long as the Zeus gauntlet comes out. Oh, no, you're going to have to deal with a few more.
He could survive this.
Oh, run away!
And for some reason, those arachnids were all of a sudden intimidated by the Zeus gauntlet wielder when they were so close to wiping him. He escapes by the skin of his teeth with one living knight, but steps away from Lich. He's really not got a whole lot to fear here.
No, I don't think so. Level 20, opal everything, and a ribbon.
On there, yeah. And he's got a sun sword, which is strong against undead. Even with Blizzard, this should be over pretty quick. Yeah,
Blizzard, more like snow flurries.
And he's going to breathe a huge sigh of relief there as Mono is able to mono his way through.
Well, we pretty much will call that the closest of close calls, but oh.
Yeah, based on how close this race is, that could have been a big deal if he wiped there and lost those few minutes. But as it stands, he's got all his orbs lit. He's got a single ribbon. He's got the crown quest he has to take care of. And then he'll be ready to complete this game.
Here, Nitz, take this crystal.
Well, you know. It's kind of like a distraction technique, right? He's like, here, take this crystal. And then when the party's like, oh, thanks. And then he like just jumps at him, right? So, doesn't work, though.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Because like the party's prepared. It's prepared every time.
Well, listen, all right. It wasn't a very good plan to begin with. He expected a much weaker party to bring him crystal.
Okay, so Fuzzy gotta try out the Kraken. Monoci completing the fetch quests. Well, I'm gonna pick up some level 2 spells, presumably for the night. And now we have Speed Knight.
Fuzzy can't kill this Kraken fast enough. It's a pretty close race, but that closeness is slipping away as he just gets caught up here hacking away at Kraken. Okay, there. That takes care of that. It's time for him to light his final orb and complete his crown quest as well.
Alright, here we go. This is it. It's a mad dash for the cash.
See how many key chests Monoci checks looking for another ribbon. If he does all the ones in the Dwarf Cave, when he goes to turn in the Excalibur, if he even does that. Without the Mass Moon, I'm saying he's just about got to. I mean, it's right there waiting for the taking. But that'll allow Fuzzy to catch up a bit.
Oh my goodness. No, they're not there.
The kindly old king was Astos all along? And erased. With the airship, with exit, this key quest is more like a key inconvenience. It's just like, it's over so fast.
Yeah, exactly. And looks like just now Monoci picks up the Excalibur.
Yeah, and he is going to check the bottom of dwarves. So depending on how much, chest checking, even picks up the canal, just like a little teaser there, gives him 5 seconds back. It's possible that
Monoci loses by 5 seconds.
Stranger things have happened. I have a hunch he wanted to get the TNT out of his inventory.
Yeah,
Just
that is a
make it-
good point. It could help line up for healing and stuff. Make it easier to heal.
That's my intention. My expectation. Fuzzy's spending a little bit of time doing some last minute promoted party magic shopping here, so that's going to cost him a few seconds. This is pretty close, though. And it really comes down to how many key chests is he going to check, or is he just going to throw himself into Topher? Because if he does that, they'll be neck and neck going in. And so far, we've seen not a lot to get excited about in those key chests.
Shoot, then. Let's just go to Marsh Cave. Probably all the ribbons and all the big swords are there.
There could well be. There could be one there. There could be one with the mermaids, which we didn't see.
Now, of course, we wouldn't do that because that would take a lot of minutes.
Yeah, that's not happening. If that's where they are, you're just going to have to deal with just having one.
All right, so we are 77 minutes in. You are watching Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament coverage. Monoci versus Fuzzymage here on Randomania. I'm Gameboy F9. I'm joined by Nitz, and they're coming down the home stretch.
Yeah, this is like the last preparatory work. It's nerve-wracking as a player, wondering, like, you can't really put your opponent's plans too far into your head because it's distracting. You just gotta play your game or whatever. But knowing that this is just like wasting time unless you hit jackpot, which he doesn't. And Monoci is now fully back in time in the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
And it looks like the Double Dragons have Stun Touch. White Dragons over in the PSP world are known as the Double Dragons after Double Drop, who apparently has had quite a time with those dragons because they're really evil in the vanilla game.
Fuzzy doing a bit more chest checking. Must feel pretty good about his time at 118, but we know that he's fallen behind and just continuing to lose time here.
Yeah, but you can't blame him for doing this.
No, you can't. He's really looking for a ribbon, and if he would have found one, or if he would have missed one, he would have regretted it. So that was the choice he made. He's done with that, and now he's going to enter Temple of Fiends Revisited no more than a couple minutes behind Monoci.
I mean, you never know. There could be some really nasty Fiend 2s here to rebalance the race again.
Of course. And with just one ribbon, like, this party's, like, hanging by a thread here. Monoci's Red Wizards do not have a lot of max health. They only have life 1 between them, so if you have to bring people back, you're going to have to spend tons of time or charges getting them not only back from the dead, but also back up to full health, so...
So Fuzzymage did accept those 4 white dragons, and I believe he's 2 levels down against Monoci. We gotta be glad those Earth Elementals are runnable.
Ooh, ends up having to use a charge of Nuke, Fade. Nuke, pardon me, and Fade there. But he does get up to level 18. Still pretty low level for where he is in the game. And Monoci engages the first Fiendry fight, Lich 2. Lich 2 starts with a Quad Axe that doesn't do anything, and that's going to give Monoci a good chance to lay a bit of a smackdown here.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be Light Warriors 1, Double Fiends 0.
Fuzzy taking a little bit of leveling up against these Badmans. They're pretty good EXP. Just about everything in the Temple of Fiends Revisited is pretty good EXP, so when you have big fights with lots of enemies, it's a good chance to do that. Unfortunately, he must be doing a bit of a planned grind here, because he's, pacing, and he's probably going to exit out and throw up a house or something like that.
Monoci just charged in and is fighting a second round of carry here.
Oh, His black mage, or sorry, his master gets off the invis 2 right before getting one-shotted. So that's all the invis he's going to have to work with.
Hey, Black Belt did his job.
Yeah, he did. Get out there and hold this shirt up in the air. A white shirt, like as if I'm surrendering? Yeah, just like that. Now get in there.
Yeah, so Monoci is level 21 versus level 18 for Fuzzymage. 21. I'm sorry. 21 is like an extra hit, isn't it? Is that right?
It depends on the character class and the weapon. When you're talking black belts, they get their first pretty good boost. I think around 24, and then 34 and 42 are the next really big levels for black belts. He's nowhere near those, obviously.
All right, so Fuzzymage went out to make things official and is gonna go again. And there's nuclear. Down goes the master again.
Oh boy, if he has, say, a couple of these queued up, this could get ugly.
Yeah, gonna try to hurry it up and get out of here.
Yeah, he sure is. And oh, that's a bit lucky there. Kraken just comes up with Rub next. We'll see what happens this round. Alright, he's able to fade him away with one more charge. So Monoci pulls out all the stops and fires off all the big cannons there. So burns through a bunch of charges, but gets through Kraken 2 alive. He's just got 2 bosses now and possibly a random encounter or 2 more separating him from victory.
Alright, we're down to the air floor, which is the shortest of the 4.
Don't tell Monoci that as he gets into back-to-back encounters.
Yeah.
And another one.
3 of them, my goodness.
All runnable, though. They've all had their runnability shuffled away, so he's going to be able to get out of there without too much trouble. Ready to take on Tiamat 2, the final equalizer before the final boss.
Which in itself could be a really big equalizer, so race is not over until chaos begins to fade.
And Mono using up most of his last charges of everything. He's down to 1 or 2 charges of Nuke and Fade between his red wizards, so these are spells that are non-elemental and are going to do solid damage to Tiamat, to Chaos, to whoever you need them to. But once you're out, all the elemental spells are like going to be massively resisted and just totally ineffective. So he's really spending everything he has to get there, counting on a relatively easy Chaos, because if this gets ugly, this could be where he wipes, or this could be where he wins, so stay tuned.
Yeah, well, the one thing that would help him out here is that Nuclear is out of the pool, so don't have to worry about that. But Nuke's still in the pool, Swirl's still in the pool, Tornado's still in the pool.
There's a lot of things still in the pool to worry about.
Yep.
Not a lot of levels. He's got a white shirt that he's going to go nuts with on his master, of course, and then he's going to lay down the buffs he can with these red wizards, and we'll see if it's enough right here.
Alright, so the absolute maximum Chaos can have is 3,000 hit points if I recall correctly, but it could be much less. We're going to see what happens here.
Gets off the white shirt right off the bat, that's nice. Gets the A rub in there for anyone that didn't have a pro ring or a ribbon. Hard times. Chaos starts with fire too, which does some pretty good damage because he doesn't have a lot of ribbons to resist that fire. Or anything to resist that fire. So, Chaos off to an okay start as well. We'll see what he's got queued up. If he keeps casting magic, that white shirt isn't going to do much. The white shirt isn't going to do much. And indeed, he's half dead on most of his characters now, but he's doing some pretty good damage with his knight, so this could be over soon if Chaos doesn't pull out anything harder. Oh, there's a blizzard.
Well, this is amazing play by Monoci with the fact that the Knight has
Yeah.
a ribbon. Already has dealt 1,041 damage, and this Knight is very healthy.
Oh, he's ripping them up now. All those other support characters hung on long enough to really get off all those buffs, and Monochi's cruising now. Oh, except for that zap. But he's probably got it now.
There it is. Bam.
6 hits,
and we have a winner.
888 damage, and Chaos is down. He came out swinging, but Mono's party was tough enough, Mono's Knight was buffed enough, and it's over. Mono takes this race with an official SRL time of 1:26.14, becoming 2-0 and booking his ticket amongst the upper echelon of the Swiss round so far. We'll get him in for a quick post-race chat as soon as we can, and we'll turn our attention over to Fuzzymage in the meantime, who's taking on Kraken 2.
Yeah, and I will also mention that at 2-0, that means that one more win, and he is at least into the play-in race. So it's a very good place to be right now. Oh dear, we got a dead Knight.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem, and he's going to have to lay out all his big magic now. Well, what's left of it? Oh boy. This is getting ugly fast. Oof. Eat. Gets it done and makes Kraken 2 eat it. He's got life 2 for days. So that party, like a hider, just grows all of its heads back, and he's right back in it. You know, at the beginning of this race, I would have said Monochi drawing Fuzzymage is a lucky stroke for him. Dark Horse coming out of nowhere, playing his first SRL races. But the way he played and the show he put on to finish within mere minutes is really something, and gave Monochi a run for his money. If he had wiped at any point in Topher, we'd see Fuzzymage here with a chance to win. But as it is, Monochi goes 2-0. Fuzzymage is going to end up 1-1. And that's the story.
All right. Oh, man. Master gets melted again. This is his job. Just stand up and go face down.
All right, that's it for Team Matt 2. Another one of his plenty of charges of life 2. And he's ready to go take on Chaos. We'll see if he plays it similarly to how Monochi did, and that'll be a testament to just how well he's picked up this game.
All right, here we go. Now, one of the things Fuzzymage did is put the Knight in the 3rd position so it wouldn't get hit as often.
Yeah, we know that Chaos seems to be mostly throwing out AoE magic, so in this case it's not going to be a huge deal, but it's a good strategy to avoid getting, one-shotted by physical attack right off the bat before you're ready. Of course, a Knight is not liable to get one-shotted with a physical attack because of all the absorb, but nevertheless, keeping them out of the line of fire while you're buffing them up is a good strategy.
So we know the Chaos has no more than about 2,500 hit points. Oh, interesting. A heal 3 coming out.
Oh boy. Well, there's the zap. It's time to start swinging. And yeah, time to throw up that wall. The wall is going to give his Knight a ribbon as though he had it equipped. Probably should have been the first thing you do if you don't put the ribbon on your Knight, because if that Knight got zapped, it would have been show's over for Fuzzy. But he escapes there, and now it's going to become a bit of a swinging, punching competition.
Just about 700 damage so far. Oh, nuclear! I didn't realize there was another nuclear in this set, and this is gonna become a horse race now.
He's got lots of invis too. Oh boy, down to 37 HP.
I was hoping
Not
for a
good hit. Oh,
he did get an RNG loop, but it was 93 damage, and unfortunately, Fuzzymage has withdrawn from the race.
He gave her
great attempt.
But that nuclear up Chaos's sleeve really put him out of this race. Monoci does super well to avoid getting nucleared at any point during his battle because that could have gotten ugly when all of his characters were half dead there. By the time he had his knight buffed up, he might have been able to tank it. But that's how it'll go in the books. Looks like Monoci's in chat to answer questions, but
all
Fuzzy.
right, we're just about to get everybody in the room. GG, Fuzzy.
GG got that. Oh man, that was great. GG Monoci. Oh, that was close.
GG Fuzzy.
Yeah, it was closer than you'll know. Monoci brought in a party very similar to yours into the Temple of Fiends Revisited. You both only found one ribbon, so you were kind of like trying to share it amongst the whole team, and he avoided any of the real dangers that you found, especially the nuclear on Chaos, and walked away with the win. So, Monoci, walk us through the general strategy. Any surprises, anything you changed along the way, or did it feel straightforward?
It's pretty straightforward, I think. It's just that the first two levels, the first was XXXX and stop, which was alright, I guess. I end up using it for going through ice, it helps a bit, I guess.
And what about those thunder arachnids?
Oh, it scared me. That scared me though. I was like really close. I was like
the
HP from death.
Mirror steps away from Lich. Fuzzy. Monoci runs into a pack of 8 arachnids that thundered the heck out of his party, leaving his knight alive, which he single-handedly defeated them with the Zeus Gauntlet and emerged with like 50 HP. So he was within, his fingernails of wiping there, and that could have changed things too. But he was able to pull that one off as well. Fuzzy, what strikes you as being the number one thing that jumps out when you look back on this run?
I've got to work on my early game. Like I haven't got enough practice on the no AoE spells. I tried going over Peninsula of Power, and I think I wasted too much time there when I realized it's just the encounter table wasn't in my favor, and I just really didn't have the spells to deal with it. So I wasted a pretty good amount of time there before I decided to just dive into ice.
Yeah, you both left some chests on the table at ice because it was kind of nasty, but you both used the warp trick to grab the floater and then just got out of there. You both skipped the mermaids. There were a lot of chests that you were just like, you know what, if there's a ribbon there, so be it. I gotta move on. Did you feel like the pressure was such that you had to just leave those behind for a pure time, or did you not really care about the extra ribbon? Monoci, you go first.
That's what I was searching for. Oh, whoops! I dropped my cookies. What else was I searching for?
Can I have a cookie?
If you live close enough, I'll buy you a pack.
And Fuzzy, you also skipped the mermaids. Were you just too much work, too few chests?
I knew who I was against, and I knew if I sat there and did, you guys saw me in the first race where I did a lot of grinding, I did a lot of searching to get that geared up knight. I knew if I did that with Monoci, was for sure chance I wasn't gonna even come close to him. So I just I took the chests that I knew that were easy to grab. Anything that was more than a 2-minute run out of the way, I ignored. I couldn't take the chance of them being a complete waste of my time.
Yeah, we'll never know. There was also the wall spell, which you used after Chaos cast Zap. You're like, I should probably put the wall on my knight there.
He cast Zap, and I was like, oh no! I forgot.
Yeah.
I think Zap got all 3 of my caster, I think.
He got my black wizard.
two of your casters anyways. Yeah, Chaos had some surprises, but Monoci avoided getting nucleared, and that really was the big difference. If that didn't happen to you, you might have been able to hang on and finish him off too. He had somewhere around a little more than 2,000 HP, and you were getting close, but yeah.
Yeah, not getting that last temper from my Black Mage before he got exiled to the 4th dimension kind of made me sad, but it happens.
Hopefully he's living out a long, full life in the 4th dimension. But he's probably not. Alrighty, well, Monoci, GG, you move up to 2-0. Fuzzy, you'll drop to 1-1, and we'll see who your next, your round 3 opponent is come next reveal. But still in the middle of the pack, obviously, and still definitely in contention, as anyone 3 and 2 will at least gain access to the play-in game to make it into the bracket stage. So, GG to both of these runners tonight. Any final thoughts, Monoci?
Thank you guys for commentating, and thanks Nora for restreaming. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Fuzzymage is really good. He's getting good fast, guys. Watch out.
Yeah, as someone who finished mere moments, wow, you wiped on Chaos, but had the potential to finish right on Monoci's heels and could have easily won if he got nucleared instead of you. GG, it was a very close race. Fuzzy, your final thoughts?
It was a good seed. Like I knew who I was against. I practiced and practiced and practiced. I was on the Discord asking questions from everyone since my last game. Everyone in this community is super helpful. Like you can just pop in and hang out and they'll answer all the questions. If you're trying to get into the randomizer, like this community is amazing.
Oh, that's good stuff to hear. All the links are getting dumped into the chat. You can check out our Discord. You can, of course, hit up FinalFantasyRandomizer.com if you want to check it out. It's very easy to get into with all the conveniences and features that have been added to the game to make it so much more playable. It's not just the nostalgia factor of playing Final Fantasy. It's all the modern conveniences like being able to dash and buy multiple items and do all those things that make it such an approachable game now that I think anyone can have a lot of fun with it, no matter how they're choosing to play. So it really makes you feel good to hear new players like Fuzzy already at the top of the game say things like that, and it speaks to the community that we have here. So thanks very much for saying that. Warms my heart. Game Boy, any final thoughts?
I think that's all. I'm actually good to go. I just want to thank both of you for a very competitive race, very entertaining. This is we still have just so many more races to come, at least 80, 100, I don't know, a ton of races to go, and really looking forward to the next race coming up. And we got a host of races coming up on Randomania tomorrow. We got 3 Final Fantasy randomizer races. We got an Octarina of Time a demonstration, little race there. That's going to be a pretty big event that's happening at 5 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. We got the Super Mario Brothers 3 Randomizer Weekly. It's just all, it's going to be quite the day tomorrow. But for the time being, we are going to host NES Cardinality, doing Little Dragon Warrior Randomizer. And that is all. So once again, many thanks to our runners. GG to both of them. Excellent race once again. Many thanks to Melee Wizard, our tracker, Noraestra, our restreamer, and Nitz, my commentary partner. And this is me, Game Boy F9, saying you are watching Randomania. Good night.